Hey family, welcome back to Buzzworthy Veterans. I'm your host, Ant Stroud. Today I have the honor and privilege of sitting next to powerhouse herself, Michele McManamon, Executive Officer and co-founder of Operation New Uniform. Thank you so much for being here today, Michele.
Well, thank you so mumuch for having me. I really appreciate it, Ann. I was looking forward to this all day.
Oh my gosh, the first time I seen you at the gala, the year-end gala, oh my gosh, you're in this environment and you see everything that Operation New Uniform has and the people who love it. You're sitting next to people who will not only sponsor it, but you're also sitting next to graduates themselves.
Yes.
And before we dive into that, because it's definitely, we need to discuss that, how did Operation New Uniform come about?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny because it felt like I was telling this story all the time and then it just kind of stopped. 6 years later, maybe people don't care as much. But I think it's important to know. You asked me what branch of service I served in, and I didn't. My husband never served, and I don't have a long history. I have a grandfather and an uncle that served in the military, which I am blessed to know, but it wasn't a big part of my life growing up. But when my husband and I started our business in Jacksonville 20 some odd years ago, we, thank God, did very well. And about 6 years ago, a little more, we wanted to give back to the local community. So we do sales management, and leadership training. And with that, we wanted to scholar a veteran through our program. We wanted to teach them to be potentially a salesperson. But we found out a few things. So we went and called a large organization, veteran service organization here in town, and asked them if they knew of a veteran that would want to come through our program. It's a year-long, very intensive. We do a lot of training on attitude, behavior, and technique, and how to get to know people and communicate with people. And the woman that I spoke to, she said, why don't you come and do a lunch and learn? And I'll tell you, you can talk to all of these military folks that just came out of the military and see who wants to come through the program. So I was like, this is going to be great. And, if you know me, and I think you know me a little bit, I don't mind talking in front of groups from 1 to thousands. But this group, for some reason, I was scared to death. I had never served. And here I am going to speak to a group of people that just came out of the military. And I couldn't relate to their world. So we did something. I did a little lunch and learn, and I was teaching them how to do a 30-second commercial on how to sell themselves. I thought, well, if anything, they can use this for a potential employer. They can use it in an interview, when they're networking. This is in my mind. So I taught them this 30-second commercial. And after I was done, I said, look, we have contacts in town with the Business Journal, with the Chamber of Commerce, with all these networking events. Who wants to practice their 30-second commercial out there in the real world? And I'll hold your hand the whole way. Who's with me?
How many hands you get?
Yeah, you're a veteran. Would you have raised your hand out of the military?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
I think because you don't know. There's so much out there and you don't know. And you're afraid to publicly make that leap. Like in research, you're at home, you might be YouTubing things, but to publicly acknowledge your fears, to publicly acknowledge those and recognize those fears, it's a lot.
Yes, exactly. And nobody raised their hand. I was like, what's going on here? You just learned this great technique. I'm giving you all this power. Who wants to go out, pro bono? You don't have to pay for your lunch, breakfast, whatever. And nobody raised their hand. And at that moment, one of the gentlemen that was sitting there said to me, Michele, I don't think you understand something. And I was like, you're probably right, Reggie, because I don't know your world. What do you got for me? And he says, once we take off these uniforms, people don't treat us the same. So a lot of light bulbs went off, and it really meant to me, and what we teach in the Sandler training system is they don't know how to separate their identity from their roles. They couldn't take off that uniform and figure out who they were once that uniform was off. So that's what we teach. We teach something called the IR theory. We teach them how to separate that identity from their roles and be the new person that they need to be. That had a lot to do with the person they were before they went into the military.
Absolutely.
We give them confidence, and we help gain all that stuff they had while they were in the military and use that to get their next career.
Absolutely. And I mean, that start to hearing that story where you first started and being at the gala, like it is night and day of what that realization is. And I think that you hit it on the key, you hit it on the head. Caring crosses every border. It doesn't matter. So you may have not served and you may have not been a spouse and, your grandparents may have served, but it doesn't matter because you care.
That's right.
And for people who come out of the military, we don't know what to expect. We don't know how people are going to treat us because people do treat us differently. You're either a high leader, expected to be a very, very high leader with all this training you have, but you might have that, but you don't know how to apply it.
Right.
Or you're either the, unfortunate kind where they just like to stereotype certain military members. We cuss a lot. We do all these things. We don't know how to put on a professional suit or anything like that. But I found with your training and your course and just your love, what you guys do over at Operation Uniform, you bridge those gaps for these people, for my brothers and sisters. And that alone shows so much. Now, let me ask you this question. How do you go from Jacksonville? Because you're here locally. Jacksonville is a hub of military, but there's so many cities, so many of my brothers and sisters in California, in New York, and wherever they go back to. How do you reach those people?
Yeah, that's awesome. So, blessing and curse of this whole pandemic thing, it forced us to go more virtual. So we have our classes now are a hybrid. We have some that come live. Our last class, our graduate, we had one from San Antonio and one from Seattle, Washington.
Wow.
So we're excited about that. Our San Antonio guy was like, Michele, listen, I want to meet my battle buddies. I want to meet the folks that are in my class with me. So he came out for the first 2 weeks, and the last week he went back home and graduated virtually. Got a career right away, which is so exciting. So that's one way that we're bridging it. The other way is we are literally expanding. We're going to Tampa this year, as you know.
Oh, yes.
I know, I'm so excited. In August, we're going to have our first class, but January 21st, which is next week. I don't know when you're airing this, but making this timeless, it's this January 21st. And we're going to do a lunch and learn and a breakfast brief and explain who ONU is and how we collaborate with all the VSOs. So our veterans, doesn't matter what you're looking to do when you get out, we want to help guide you there. Now, we're not going to be the only resource, of course, but if you call us because you're looking for a career and we can't help you, we're going to get you to where you need to be, because we're not going to leave anybody feeling lost. Too many do.
Absolutely.
And we're not going to be there to do that. We partner with the Fire Watch. We partner with Cohen Veteran Network, Wounded Warrior Project, with you name it. And we want to be there because we know we're not the fix for everybody, but we want to help those that we can.
Gotcha. And that is a passion that knows no bounds and is limitless. And watch out for it.
Amen.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, if anybody wanted to either donate, because this is a nonprofit, okay? Listen, here. Nonprofit, we need donations. They need donations. Such a great cause. And if you're in Tampa, it's coming to you. So I see you in Tampa, okay? How can people either reach out to be a student or to donate to your cause?
Thanks for asking. So www.onuvets.org. If you want to reach us at our phone number is 904-328-1600. But our website is the best for our military members that are transitioning out, whether you're active duty, if you're a reservist, no matter where you are in your career, or if you've even been out a while, feel free to look at our website. There is a link there for you to fill out an application, and all that does is get us in touch with you and how we can help you. So
awesome.
We would love to talk to you. If you want to sponsor an event, call me personally. I will talk to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for what you're doing for my brothers and sisters.
And thank you for being a supporter and a great friend.
Thank you. All right, family, that's going to do it for this episode of Buzzworthy Veterans. If you want to learn more about Operation New Uniform, please visit iwanttabuzz.com. I'm your host, Ant Stroud. And remember, always vets, always family. I'll see you next time.